Why has horror, a genre once steeped in stereotypes, become a sanctuary for marginalized audiences, specifically queer viewers? Today we're diving into the fascinating evolution of horror, queerness, and the monsters that made it all possible. Horror hasn't always been the haven it is today. Early horror films often relied on harmful stereotypes, queer-coded villains, monstrous others, and invisibility. Films like Dracula's Daughter or Bride of Frankenstein subtly explored queerness but were limited by the Hays Code. The Hays Code was a strict set of Hollywood censorship rules active from 1934 to 1968. The Hays Code restricted any explicit mention of queerness, but queer subtext survived, sometimes even thrived, in horror where metaphor and suggestion became tools of resistance.
Stand by the fire for a moment. You mustn't catch cold.
A great way to think about how queerness is represented in horror and why it's important to LGBTQ+ audiences is to dive into horror and monster theory. The Monster Theory Reader is a book that contains multiple scholars and their horror theories. One of the authors in this book is Robin Wood. According to theorist Robin Wood, horror is built on the tension between normality, think white, straight, patriarchal, and the other. This other is often embodied by monsters that directly oppose this hetero-patriarchal capitalism.
Yeah, hi, I'm Professor Benshoff.
Harry Benshoff is another theorist featured in the Monster Theory Reader. He expands on Wood's work to say that queerness in horror isn't just about gender or sexuality. It's about anything that disrupts the norm. This could be race, disability, politics. In horror, the monster is queer, and that's empowering.
It's not real. I don't think about it. Isabel.
Indie filmmakers embrace these theories from Wood and Benshoff. With fewer studio restrictions, they've pushed horror into deeply personal, political, and queer territory. Films like Titan explore gender and body horror, I Saw the TV Glow dives into queer identity and alienation, and Hereditary isn't explicitly queer, but its themes of grief, repression, and legacies speak volumes to queer audiences. Going back to Harry Benshoff, he not only theorizes about the definition of queerness in film, but what specifically makes a film queer. He argues that a film can be queer through 4 different lenses: its characters, authorship, subtext, and viewership.
Halloween night. A small American town. 15 years ago.
So while Halloween may not scream queerness on the surface, its massive queer fan base transforms it into a queer horror classic. A film doesn't necessarily have to directly speak on or visualize queer themes as long as it's being created by or consumed by the queer community.
Halloween. The night he came home.
For many queer people, horror is more than just thrills and screams. It's a place to see the other survive, fight back, or even win. Challenging the norm has been the standard within horror, and nobody does this better than independent filmmakers. Creating space for representation, experimentation, and truth allows a challenge to the status quo that revels in diversity and otherness. Queer audiences have always seen themselves in the monster, misread, misunderstood, but undeniably powerful. Horror gave them a home, and thanks to indie filmmakers, that home is bigger, weirder, and more inclusive than ever.